Hi, John with eTrailer. Look, everybody's looking for the best bang for their buck when it comes to camper accessories. Today, we have one of those accessories. This is going to be the Solera Slide Topper, and we've installed it on our 2021 Grand Design travel trailer. Now, there's a lot of advantages to having a slide topper installed on your camper. Probably the most important one is the way that it's going to protect your camper from damage. Without a slide topper, you know that if you park at some of the campgrounds that have trees, you're going to end up with debris on top of your slide, and then when you go to retract it back inside, that's where a lot of the damage can occur. Also, moisture is another problem. If you retract it, moisture stays in there, you're going to have mold and mildew growth. Also, it's just going to extend the life of your slide seals as well by keeping out the debris from falling down up on top. One of the other features it has, it's going to help you cool in the summertime by keeping the sun directly off of your slide. Now, a lot of these campers will come from the factory with the slide toppers already installed. So if yours didn't, this is a great way to upgrade your camper with this kit. The way that we need to measure and to make sure that you get the correct size that you want is you're going to measure from the edge of your slide to the other edge of the slide. Make sure you use this hard edge here. In our case today, we chose a kit that was made for anywhere from 116 inches wide to 121 inches wide. Now, as far as installation goes of the topper, this is something where you're definitely going to want to have at least 2 extra people to help you hold it up. It's going to be long. It's not super heavy, but it's kind of awkward. You're going to be up on a ladder doing most of the work. Now, this kit is great. It has almost everything you need. You're either going to want to use butyl tape like we did on our installation, or silicone where we screw into the camper. Other than that, it's going to retract with your slide in and out. It's going to save you money. It's going to upgrade your camper. It's a win-win for everybody. You want to see how to install one of these on your camper? Stick around. Now, to begin our installation, we're going to have to install our extrusion rail. Now, your camper may already have one installed up here, and if so, that's great. You can fast forward. For us, we're going to get some measurements here, and keep in mind that my measurements today aren't going to be necessarily your measurements. It depends on the slide width, height, and how many slides you have, if you have any obstructions or else. So, the one thing we're looking for right now, we want the extrusion rail that sits above our slide. We want it level, and we want it even from side to side. So I've got some painter's tape. From my measurements today, I needed to go 5 inches on either side of the slide so it was going to be even. And so I've got this painter's tape edge line right here that's denoting my 5-inch mark from the edge of the slide. The other thing that I need today is I need 3 1/4 inches above the slide. And when we do that, we want to make sure that we're not measuring from these corner pieces. These things are put in after the fact, and they can be mounted crooked, sideways, nobody really knows. So we're going to go off of this rail that runs across the top of your slide. I'm going to dip my tape measure down into the track. It doesn't matter if you want to go from the edge of the track or inside, just as long as you do the same thing all the way across. And I've got some painter's tape back here, and I'm going to mark on here 3 1/4 inches. And I'll come over to the edge here and do another 3 1/4 inches. Now, in the kit, this is one of the bars that we're going to be using later on. Right now, I'm going to use it as a straight edge, and I'm going to line up my 2 marks that I just put on here, 3 1/4 here, and line it up here. And make a mark over here. So now when we hold the extrusion rail up, we know that we're going to be 5 inches over, and we're going to be 3 1/4 inches up off of our slide. That's what we need. So once we begin to install this, we're going to do the edges and then the middle and run it across. Now, this is our extrusion rail that I'll be mounting up there. This is the one I was talking about. It's going to have a C-channel on one side and then a flat edge. And on the back side, you'll have a grooved channel. Now, back here, we're going to be installing butyl tape. This does not come with your kit. You're going to have to pick this up separately. Now, we have some available here at eTrailer. You can also pick this up at a lot of the home stores, the big box home stores. We're going to have this stuff here. This is 3/4 inch thick. And while we're talking butyl tape later on, We have some that's 1.5 inches thick, but if you need to, you can just double this stuff up, whatever you need to do. So this stuff will have a paper backing on it. We're going to keep that on for right now. And I'm just going to align this with the groove in the channel and just lightly press down and run this all the way down, one constant roll. This is going to keep dirt and moisture out of the walls of our camper. Now you can use a razor knife to cut this stuff. I like the razor cutters like this. This stuff can get pretty stringy sometimes. I'd actually cut better than normal. Now in your kit, you're going to get a bunch of different hardware, so make sure you pay attention to the screw size and shape. For the extrusion rail, we're going to be using these pan head screws. This is going to be a number 2 screw drive. So up here on the extrusion rail, I've got the butyl tape, and you'll see I've got like little flags of the backing on it. This is going to be the hardest part of the job, is getting the backing off of your butyl tape. So I've got these down right here. We're going to strip those in just a minute. I'm going to start at the edge where I have my camper marked for the 5 inches out and the 3¼ inches up, and I'm going to set this with the butyl tape, and I'll pull that back, and I'm going to set the first screw in right here. These are self-tapping. You're definitely going to need some help holding up the other end of this, and especially when we put the awning up later. So I moved over to the middle now and set this at my 3¼ inches, and I'm just going to work my way down until I reach the other side. Okay, so now that we have it set level all the way across, I'm just going to go ahead and hit all these screw holes with the screws. Now we can take our extension rod, and in the kit we're going to have a self-tapping pan head screw, and then you're going to need a number 3 Phillips head to screw this in. We'll come down to the end cap here. I'm going to insert the rod and then screw this down. You're going to want to do this on both sides. Next, we can grab our 2 access plates. These are going to go on either side of the slide, and you're going to see they're going to be flat on one side. That's where we're going to apply our butyl tape. When we install these, you can see that this one has a lip on it, and this is going to be on the top side. Now we can take our access plate, and we're going to be installing it in this location right here. Now you've got to watch these corner tabs here. We want it to be up as high as possible and over as far as possible, but these tabs get in the way sometimes. So what we like to do is we're going to go up against this trim, and we're going to go over probably just flush with this corner tab here. And that'll allow us enough room to get everything installed. Now you'll notice on these access panels that these holes are countersunk. We want to make sure when we're grabbing our hardware that we get the flathead screws. And again, for this next step, make sure you have some help. This is going to get kind of tricky. So at the edge of the awning, we're going to have this rope cord that runs through, and we're going to feed that into the C channel on this extrusion rail that we installed earlier. So you got to have somebody hold the backside like we're doing today, and we're just going to carefully feed this through and run this all the way down the extrusion rail. Yeah, I just wanted to show you a quick tip here real quick. If you got some needle nose pliers, if you're having a hard time running that cord in there, you can just take your pliers and just gently make this a little bit wider here. Be careful that you don't burr it up, and then it'll make it easier to slide that rope through. Now once you have it installed all the way across, you can take the other bracket, and we're going to slide it onto this bracket and this bracket at the same time. So I'm supporting the awning with my one hand. And real quick, I will show you there's different settings for different heights. Today we're going to be using the bottom setting on here. You can try that for you. If you don't like the angle of it, you can adjust it. Now once we have everything just kind of mocked up here, we're going to secure this bottom plate. We don't have to worry too much about where the awning is and then where this is in relationship to everything else. In your kit, you're going to get some set screws. It looks like they're 3mm Allen head is going to work for us. You're going to have 2 per side. Because we chose the bottom holes, we're going to be doing the bottom set screw locations on these plates. Now moving up from this plate, we want to go in and we're going to have some self-tapping screws that come in our kit. We're going to do 2 per side, and we're going to lock these arms in on this one. So this is important to make sure that your awning is set side to side. You want to get a tape measure and just find a point of reference and measure from the side of your slide out. Make sure it's even on both sides. The top is still going to be loose up here. Now once you get everything secure here, we need to pull the spring clips that are keeping the awning spring back. You're going to have one of these on each side, and you want to hang on to them for in the future. If you ever do any awning work, you can reset these to hold the awning in place. Now one of the last steps that we're going to be doing is we've got 2 more set screws, and these go into that rope that we fed in the extrusion rail up on top. But before we set the top of the awning in place, we want to open the slide so that our awning kind of self-centers with our slide. So we're going to open it, and then we're going to close it, and then we could set the top of it. Now to ensure that the awning lines up with the slide, we're going to be extending the awning out and sliding it back in a few times. We want this to self-center with the slide and the top of the RV at our extrusion rail. Now we've got our slide extended out, and this is what I'm talking about. We're going to be putting our set screws in with this rope here, and we're going to do this on either side once we're happy with the results. What we're going to be watching for as we slide it back in, we're going to be watching this line here and how it rolls onto the roll here. So we're going to stand back behind this and see that it rolls straight up. You're going to see if it's going to want to be rolling to one side or the other side if it overlaps. So that's really what we're looking for. This is still free and should be able to move left and right. Now we ran this in and out a few times, and we're happy with the way that it's lining up on the roll and with the extrusion rail here. So we're going to apply our self-tapping screw. Where to put this? You don't want to go any more than an inch into the fabric here, but you do want to go into the fabric and the cord. So these are self-tappers. I'm just going to screw right into the C channel, run it all the way through both the fabric and the shop cord here. Now make sure you do this on both sides. Now with everything tested, you're going to have 2 cover pieces that are going to cover up the existing bolt holes on this fascia here. And it's kind of a press fit. You want to install these on both sides. That'll complete our look at some of the features and the installation of Solera Slide Topper on our 2021 Grand Design Travel Trailer.